All right. Wow, I finally got the countdown to work, and it took forever. Man, I gotta quit doing videos in the morning. Look at this. I look like a goth. This lighting. Hi, kids. My inbox is always piling up with stuff from YouTube and from my students and Facebook and so much social media. I'm always on my phone. I'm always working when I'm on my phone. I've got games in there, but rarely time to play them. Um, and I believe it was one of my students was just asking me my views on karma, and I can't believe I haven't covered that. And maybe I did cover that, but just not specifically enough in a video just about karma. But I can't believe I can't believe I never covered that. Well, first off, before we get into my beliefs about things, we need to talk about karma because I don't know about you, but I live in America, the land of give me convenience or give me death, and Americans are always in a hurry for a quick fix for everything, including and especially their spirituality. That's why the New Age movement did so well in this country. Uh, yeah, crackerjack philosophies, bumper sticker philosophies. No, this is the way of this country. Um, so, if you're an American, you want to know about karma, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth. It's way too big for you to deal with. It's the ultimate in personal responsibility. The Hindu belief in karma is much bigger than what Americans use of it. Americans adopt people's philosophies and boil them down to there's nothing left of the philosophy. Huge, rich, large, all-encompassing philosophy, this Hindu view of karma. And America boils it down to what goes around comes around. That is the most minuscule version of the idea of karma. Yes, that's part of it, but the smallest part of it. And here's the truth that you can't handle. There's too much responsibility for any of us to take. The Hindu belief in karma, as you might imagine, since it's Hindu, they believe in past lives. So they believe that before your birth in this lifetime, your higher self, your perfect spirit, that's been with you through all your incarnations and is here guiding you down the school, down the lesson plan of life. The idea is that we're here to learn certain things. We're here to overcome certain weaknesses and accumulate certain strengths in each lifetime. And the Hindu belief is that your higher self decided this incarnation for you. The conditions of your birth, location, your parents, the difficulties that you would go through in life, if you were born with an affliction, a disease, or if you're blind, deaf, dumb, any of those things, if you're paralyzed in your life. You decided that. Your higher self decided that. Everything bad that ever happened to you in your life, everything good that ever happened to you in your life, your higher self decided that ahead of time. No, it's all fate. There's nothing you can do about it. You have been locked into this life by a decision of a higher part of yourself because it cares not about the difficulties that you go through. It only cares about the lessons you learn going through those difficulties. So that'd be like the ultimate mindfuck. I mean, for everybody. It means everything bad that you ever went through, anything bad that ever happened to you, you decided that should happen. That's fucking karma. Deal with that. Most people can't. Most people can't. Now the what goes around comes around part is that it's part of it. It's part of it. Part of it. But not the whole philosophy. And Americans only embrace that philosophy. They only talk about that philosophy usually. I mean, not all of them, There's some more spiritually involved people out there, but they're few and far between. They boil it down to the crackerjack philosophy of, what goes around comes around. Now, my beliefs, you asked, you, whoever the hell you are. My beliefs are a little more complicated than that. As far as what goes around comes around, I've paid attention, and I've seen quite a bit not come around to those that have gone around. I've seen many an evil person do evil and not receive evil back in this lifetime. I can't monitor them through all the other incarnations, and there's the rub. There's the only reason that we can believe in karma is because we cannot see it. We cannot see it operate. Occasionally we will see an asshole get what's coming to him. It does happen from time to time, but as far as an absolute, a universal construct, no. I don't see that. I don't see any reason to believe that philosophy in my examination of it. Some people get punished, some people don't get punished. Now, in Italian witchcraft, they have a different view on karma than you might find in, Wicca. Italian witchcraft, they believe that karma is your job. Your job. And especially a witch, especially a magic user. That's why the evil eye is so prominent in that country. The evil eye was often a curse done upon an evil person. Sometimes, quite often it's somebody that they were jealous of or something like that. But the original idea was the evil eye was cast upon somebody that was evil. The belief is that since, if you've acquired these special skills, you move in this special alternate universe, different than the mundane people. And when you come across somebody that is doing evil, it's your job to visit karma upon them. Since you're the one that noticed it. Gods and spirits can't be everywhere. They can't do everything. It's a lot of stuff going on in the universe. It's a big job. Least you could do is do something. Take some personal responsibility. And therein lies the rub. The personal responsibility idea. Now, personal responsibility, as some of you may know, if you've been on my channel a lot, God, the glare is getting even worse in here. Personal responsibility is the hallmark of anarchism. Personal responsibility. You take personal responsibility not because it is imposed upon you by anyone else, just because it's the right thing to do. Just because it's your responsibility. You take personal responsibility. Now, that's the problem I have. See, I'm an anarchist. And anarchy probably, unless you're very well educated, anarchy probably doesn't mean what you think it means. It does not mean no government. More properly, it means self-government. And this glare's just going to kill me here. Hold on just a second. Alright, that's a little better. Not great. I'm going to have to just find it. I'm just going to have to stop doing videos first thing in the morning when the sun's coming through that fucking window. At any rate, sorry. I got distracted. Anarchy. That's what it was. Now, a wise man once described it to me. An anarchist is a person that doesn't need a cop to tell him what to do. The police are here to force us to be nice to each other and respect each other's rights, because people are often bad and do not do that, and so they need somebody with a gun to step in between them, police, army, what have you, to keep you in line. Religions all have a portion of them that's meant to keep you in line. Many spiritualities too. The 10 Commandments, just a bunch of rules imposed by God to keep you in line, with a punishment scheme imposed within those rules. You are threatened into being a nice person. And I know I've said this in another video. If you're just a good person because You're afraid of going to hell and burning in the everlasting lake of fire, lake of everlasting fire. You're not a good person. If you're a good person because you're scared to be punished for not being a good person, you're not a good person. You're under threat. That's all. You're a good person under threat. Now, an anarchist is a good person just because it's the right thing to do. They govern themselves. I don't need the government to come in and tell me what to do, what not to do. I do those things myself. I do not need a cop to tell me what to do. I do not need a government to tell me what to do. I do not need a religion to threaten me into doing the right thing, being a decent human being, having some morals and some scruples. The Wiccan Reed. There's another one. Now the Wiccan Reed's kind of twofold. I see twofold. It's another one of those rules in a religion to keep you nice, to keep you a good person. But there's other things. The other thing I think with the Wiccan Reed was part of the PR campaign of paganism, and prior to that, which had a really bad reputation everywhere, and still, most of the world, it's still a bad word. We were doing some PR work here in the West, and so they came up with this rule for all of the people, or the Wiccans and the witches, to practice, a rule that would make us less scary. Because ultimately, historically, that's been the problem, is people get these ideas in their head. Oh, they can do magic, they can fly, oh no, they can turn into a cat and a bat, and they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. You can't get away from the witches, they're everywhere, they're doing evil, they're blighting the harvest, they're making my woman stray. Everything you can blame on a witch, because a witch can theoretically do anything. Now, as you know, it's not that easy to do anything, everything. Not everything's that easy to do, and not everything can be done with witchcraft, but they don't know that. So the Wiccan Reed was part of a PR campaign to get people less scared of us, so I understand that. But I don't need it, and I don't agree with it. I think it's that kind of thing only works in a perfect world where there's not bad people. There's some people need to be punished, some people need to be stopped. Some people need to be stopped from doing evil, and if I come upon them, I see it as my personal duty to the universe to make this place a little better upon my departure. So I don't go along with the Wiccan Reed. I don't go along with the Ten Commandments, the rules in the Bible. That's why I'm not a member of those religions. That's why I'm not Wiccan, and that's why I'm not Christian, and I guess that's why I'm not Hindu, because I don't believe in karma. I believe in personal responsibility. I believe that we make the world ourselves. Or I may believe that there could be your higher self choosing your birth for you. The way the Hindu philosophy goes, it leads no possibility for your interaction to change the course of your life's events. Your life's events are seen to be predetermined, predestined. No matter what you do, you're locked into there. And that kind of thing keeps the caste system in India alive. Keeps the upper class upper and the lower class lower through perpetuity, forever. The rich will be rich, the poor will be poor, because it's pre-designated by your higher self. So this also, I see laws within religions, laws within spiritual philosophies, rules, that kind of thing. Usually I follow them back, and I find they're to keep somebody in power and to keep somebody else powerless. And it's written into the rules. Even down to the Bible. The Bible says that there's one people that are the chosen people of God, and God has designated a piece of land to them that is theirs, and nobody can argue with that. Even even if they come take the land from somebody else, it's their land because God said so. Well, they wrote the book in which God said so. Um, the Muslims have similar beliefs to the same piece of land, and that their God gave them that land. Uh, the Christians have their own claims to that land, all because of their scripture, all because of the books that they wrote. The books that they wrote gave them certain unalienable. I never used that word again. The books they wrote gave them certain rights that cannot be taken away from anybody else because God Almighty gave them those rights. No, no, I can't go along with that. I can't go along. You wrote the book. The book says that God uh, chose you, your people. No, I don't believe that. I don't believe any of the rules that I've come across in religion. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Don't be an asshole. There you go. Make a religion out of that. Oh, I think Jesus tried to. That didn't work out very well. But he did try and preach philosophy of not being an asshole. But the people that wrote the previous book, written by the asshole God, well, they won't let go of that portion of it. So whatever Jesus came here to say is irrelevant because the other part of the religion still exists. I personally think those are two different religions. But I definitely strayed way off of karma, but these kind of all intertwine. I take personal responsibility for my life, for my personal universe, for the people around me. I will help somebody when I can, and not because I'm supposed to. I don't hurt people without necessity, and not because I'm forced to. I may have been born in a certain situation because my higher self chose it. I do have similar philosophies in the tradition I grew up with. But in the tradition I grew up with, they have a whole different thing. They have this thing called initiation. And if you go back to the core of initiation, that's what initiation was all about. Initiation was a way to rush the final in a way. To rush upon you a batch of lessons that you need to learn to get past them. The idea, in a lot of traditions, and definitely in my parent tradition, the idea of initiation was to rush these lessons upon you to where so much you can barely take it, you can barely stand each batch of lessons for each initiation, but once you get through those lessons, you've made more progress in one lifetime than you could have in 3. And then you go on to another initiation. You try and pull off maybe 3 more lifetimes worth of shit. You've got to overcome the weaknesses and accumulate the strengths. And originally, in my parent tradition, this was designated by your astrological sign. You were born. You were supposed to be born at least once under each of the 12 zodiacal signs, overcome all of the weaknesses, and acquire all of the strengths of those signs. And if you did that perfectly for each sign, when you reached all the way back to 12, you got released from the wheel of physical existence and onto something else, probably a star in the heavens, something like that. Released from all of this shit. Most times, most people don't accomplish one set of lessons in one lifetime. The idea of initiation was to rush that process and make you face more, put yourself through more shit. So keep that in mind if you want to be initiated and you want to, you want to wear that pointy hat. You want one of these cords back here. So you got multicolored, the white one over there. Once you get through all the multicolored, you go to the white one over there. Oh, there's a witch's ladder right there, just so you guys know what's going on behind me. You want to wear one of those cords and swing it around and show everybody your rank. Well, keep it in mind, you're going to have to climb through a bunch of shit to get to that rank. So, I hope I covered karma. It seems like I was all over the map, but I see like all these similar things everywhere you go. Somebody's got something in their religion, in in their spiritual philosophies to keep you in line. And I believe that those are band-aids. And rarely does anything heal under a band-aid. You use a band-aid to stop some bleeding, but eventually you got to take the band-aid off and expose it to the air for healing to occur. I do not believe that spiritual enlightenment happens under a band-aid. I do not believe that it happens under threat of forced violence or torture for eternity. I do not believe that you become a higher evolved individual under those circumstances. I think anarchy is much more enlightening. You do those things because your soul moves you to do that. Your heart moves you to be a good and decent person. Not because God's going to slap you upside the head. If you believe that, I believe that God should take you up to heaven or hell or wherever your belief is and slap you upside the head quite vigorously. And Jesus should come kick you in the balls if that's the only reason that you're following them is because you're scared. All right, man. Blessed be y'all. Merry meet, merry part, merry meet again.